Hi, Cube.
Hey, Bean.
Did you know that even in an extremely silly magical girl show, like The Demon Girl Next Door, it is still possible for Maguka to be suffering?
No, that's impossible. But wait, this one isn't so much about Maguka being suffering as being possessed by a demon being suffering, which I would say is the typical situation.
Well, yeah, that makes more sense. But we do touch on someone else's suffering that we haven't gone into just yet.
Yeah, there's hints. There's little seeds being laid of suffering.
Anyway, hi, I'm Fiend. It's Anime Slushy,
And I'm cute.
and we're talking about DG&D.
AKA Demon Girl Next Door, AKA Machikado Mazoku. I tried to search for it in English, but then it's like, no, we are calling it Machikado Mazoku. And it's like, oh, well, we got so used to calling it DG&D.
Yeah, the weebs are very insistent on, no, we're keeping the proper name for this. It does have a nice lyrical quality to it.
Yeah, Machikado Mazoku.
Yeah. Anyway.
Anyways, starting out, speaking of cute things, look, it's Mikhail. The poison frog, that's Mikan's little, what do they call them? Navigators?
Yeah, they're companion animals. They're lunars, they're cubes.
Not cute. Not cute.
No, they're not cube.
But yeah, so hers is a little froggy.
Yeah. It's a little orange frog with a little, like a stem, like an orange. Because, oranges.
Cute.
Yeah. But then Shamiko goes to touch it and she's like, no, he's extremely poisonous, you can't touch him.
Yeah, you'll die.
I turn him into an arrow to shoot at things sometimes if I'm really desperate. It's like, that's, okay, you got an instant kill poison arrow.
I didn't think it was if she was desperate. I thought that's just how she fights. He becomes an arrow.
I think she said something about it, like she doesn't use it all the time, but he can do that if she wants.
Well, yeah, you don't want to have to deadly poison someone. How often do you have to do that, Mikon? How often?
I kind of like the way they're doing the openings, where it's like, because we just get basically 3 skits.
Yeah, it's like, let's get some of the standalone skits out of the way.
Yeah, they're just little moments from the manga. It's like cute little sort of slightly out of context things. So they just like knock off 3 at once.
Yeah, it would be interesting if they, just had all the different 4 coma and they're like, oh, these ones we can't fit into whatever's happening in the plot. Okay, throw them in the opening.
Yeah. There's the one, I always forget her sister's name. What's her sister's name?
I have it written as Shamiko sis.
Ryoko, thank you. There's a bit where she's still reading books to try and help her to become her sister's tactician when she's going to take over the world. And the first book she's reading is History of Purges and Betrayals in Ancient China.
I like how she hasn't given up on that part of the dream.
No.
Why does she think that she still wants to conquer anything or whatnot? You silly baby.
Well, because that's like what the mum kind of said at first, and well, at least the mum said, like, you got to be a demon and be a bit evil, and Ryoko's just like, oh, okay, evil, I want to help my sister, so I've got to learn how to be evil, even though she finds it unpleasant.
Yeah, but she's just very worried about tactics for conquering.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cute.
Yeah.
And then this third skit is she's talking about her uniform with Shamisen, her ancestor, and Shamisen's dunking on it. I'm sure she's like, you have to wear something that's uncomfortable and makes for gags. But then she tries it on in her little dreamosphere and it's cute. And Shamiko's is like, that's cute. And I'm like, that's cute. and that's the bit.
Yeah. And credits.
Sometimes that's all you need.
Now, yeah, so the first thing they find out this episode, Mikan notes that the Dadbox, the box that Shamiko's dad is trapped in, is a box from her factory, the one that was destroyed a while back.
It's not much of a shock because it always had that Mikan on it.
Yeah, but this is the first time anyone's connected that. There's kind of a funny bit where, like, cause she says, like, I use those for moving, and she brings a whole bunch of the boxes from her room over, and the mum, who's still drunk, he just comes and goes, hey, what if we just put the dad box with like all the other boxes and then try to guess who he is? I reckon I can guess.
Gambare Shamiko, I'll be very hurt if you can't tell which one is me. Oh, I like a couple times this episode they cut to the lady and the dog outside. It's like they just really want to put her in every single episode.
But I love the dog barking is just a guy going, whoa.
Yeah, and it's like,
yeah, like,
and it's very clearly a guy's voice that go.
Yeah, like you see her in the morning and she's walking the dog and he goes, bah! And she goes, hey, don't disturb the neighbors in the morning. And then later on in the episode, it's like nighttime and he goes, bah! And she's like, no, come on, don't get so rowdy at night. And he goes, whoa. Again, just tiny little bits of stupidity. Yeah, it's good.
It brings me joy.
Anyway, so the next day, they're thinking about the fact that they know this box came from Mikan's factory, so maybe they should go investigate. They're all wearing new outfits. They're all really cute. Momo has like a nice blue hoodie with cats on it.
Yeah, she's fashionable. She's just comfy fashionable.
Yeah. Comfort
Get
fashion.
off her ass.
Yeah. Yeah, they decide they're going to go to the factory and have a look around.
Yeah, because they say that Sakura bought the factory from Mikan's family after she apparently wrecked the place, doing some kind of magical girl shit. So she owns it, and thus Momo owns it and has the key to the property.
So Momo goes home to get the key while the other two go to the factory, and this gives them a chance to kind of talk about Mikan's backstory and to also talk about Momo when she was a kid.
Yeah.
And this is one of those things where, like, yeah, so far Mikan has been, like, particularly in the first season, she's just a she's just a gag character. Like, she has this goofy curse, you know, she's kind of cute Ojo-sama girl. And then we flash back to she explains that the reason she has this curse is that her dad's business was struggling, so he summoned a demon
As one does.
Yeah, to try and, like, you know, get a bit of good fortune. And in the end, the whole thing backfired and cursed her. And apparently the curse used to be a lot worse in terms of how much it would harm people. Mm-hmm. And then, Sakura and Momo helped her out and saved her. And then we see the scene of when she first meets Momo, because Shamiko asked her, like, you know, what was Momo like when she was a kid?
She's so excited.
Yeah, she was an angel. Oh, yeah, no, Momo is just... Shamiko is just so fucking pumped to hear about Momo back in the day. It's really cute.
Yeah, as soon as she says Momo, she's like, Momo! Now I'm suddenly very, invested in this story. What was Momo like? Tell me about Momo.
And Mikan really wants to tell her, so they're both like, let's quickly do it before Momo comes back and stops us.
Yeah, cute. And so that's when you get to see her. You get to see her huddled in a little blankie as a little kid in a Cold's packing room thing, and little Momo comes there. It's cute.
It's yeah, like, this is the thing where, like, this is really sad. Like, Mikan talking about how, like, she's been hiding here for days because her curse keeps hurting people, and she even hurt her mum and put her in the hospital, so she's just going to stay here forever.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Yeah, and they're, like, little. Like, they're, like, 7 or 8-ish, like, at most.
Yeah, they have to be, like, young elementary school. Oh, she also mentions that the dad's wish to the demon he summoned was that it would protect his family.
Yeah.
And I guess, like, and, you know, like, they say they twisted the wish. So I guess the idea is that it's, like... See, at first I was thinking the idea was that it protects the family, but not anyone around them, and that's why she's never covered in the bad luck shit. But then she could also hurt the mom, so I guess I don't know how that ended up working out.
There's an explanation. In the future, there is an explanation for what's going on here.
Fuck.
I don't want to spoil it, but yes.
Okay.
Yeah. You're onto something there.
Oh!
I was saying the other day as well, I like that, like, elementary school Magical Girls feels like kind of a fun throwback to the really early Magical Girl shows.
Oh, like little Minky Momo or whatnot.
Yeah, that sort of stuff. Yeah, like back when they were, like, when Magical Girls were, like, genuine like little girls.
Yeah, like little chibi girls.
Yeah, it's kind of cute. And, like, Momo's just in a little, like, what looks like a school uniform, and she's got some food for Mikan, and she keeps coming closer and closer, and Mikan keeps saying, "Stay away, I'm going to hurt you." And then the curse goes off, but Momo's transformed, and she's a Magical Girl, and it's cute.
And Mikan's like, oh.
Yeah. And then Momo's saying to, you know, you can cry if you want, but you don't have to cry alone. And it's cute.
When Momo takes her hands, it's one of those things where it's like, God, both your hands are so fucking small. Like, even like you have your giant baby heads, and then you have, like, these teeny tiny hands that can barely grasp another's hands.
They're a little bit overly chippy. And then she actually unwraps the food, and then Momo tried to make rice balls, but they're just, like, weird pink squidgy things with spikes.
I feel like they really upgraded that from, you know, when she was trying to make the Hamburg steak last season, it just, like, kind of comes out bad. Yeah. But now every time she tries to make something, it's like this pink gooshy thing.
Yeah, it gets infused with magic somehow and also becomes spiky. It's just
This is inconsistent continuity, 0 out of 10. Oh, by the way, during this whole part, I like how Shamiko keeps poking Mikan with her tail. Very, like, prod.
Her tail is much more active in this season, I feel like.
Yeah, they have a lot of fun.
Yeah. She's about to keep talking about Momo some more, and then Momo suddenly turns up and is, like, very angrily telling Mikan to shut up.
Yeah, because she's going to get into Fresh Beach Heart Shower, which Momo never wants to talk about.
I still love that from the first season, that whole idea that Momo's just embarrassed because it's something she did when she was a little kid, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, but it's a Magical Girl thing. Like, it's a Magical Girl attack, but she's like, something I did when I was 8. It's embarrassing.
It's called Fresh Beach Heart Shower.
Because, like, Mikan's talking about how she used to, when she transformed, she used to do, like, a little dance. And she was enthusiastic about it all, whereas now, obviously, Momo's a grump. Now, we should point out, the factory they're at is the same factory that Momo took Shamiko to in season 1 when she was trying to train her to do an attack.
Yeah.
They're at that bit where Shamiko just releases this tiny ball of magic that then just wants to go back to Shamiko and it hurts her. So we've seen this factory before. And Mikan's talking about how like she has all these happy memories there and stuff. And then she looks and says like, the factory's destroyed. Because it's like how we saw it last time. It's not even a building anymore. It's just foundations.
Yeah, I like how they seeded that super early. Like you can see that sakura shape and you're like, oh, once you found out sakura has that fucking sakura shape. Oh my God.
Yeah. And so it turns out there's a discrepancy in that Momo hadn't realized. Momo's understanding was that the factory got destroyed when Sakura was helping out Mikan. But Mikan says that when she left, the factory was still standing. So something else must have happened here after the time she helped Mikan.
Yeah, there are two separate incidents.
Yeah. Oh, I should point as well. I like the bit where Mikan's explaining like her dad's, asking a demon for a wish and sort of saying, he shouldn't have taken shortcuts. That never works out well for anyone. And Shamiko's making notes about how to manipulate people.
She does still want to try to do demon things a little bit.
But it always seems to be out of a sense of duty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wants to do demon things because she's a demon and that's what she's supposed to do. Not that she actually wants to do these things when push comes to shove.
She's just earnest.
Yeah.
She's earnest about being a demon.
Yeah. There's also something gets seeded here as well, because Momo wants to make some notes, so she takes Shamiko's notebook that had all the notes about how she was going to manipulate Momo. But she goes to use the pen and says, this pen's got no ink in it. It's such a dumb little Chekhov's gun.
But that's also like an excuse that Shamiko's making because she doesn't want Momo to look at her journal, because Momo turns the page and it has her notes about how to make Momo fall to darkness. That includes the new take a shortcut. And it also has her shopping list, which I think is cute. Like, it's just like, how to make Momo fall to darkness. Oh, also I need eggs and bread.
Sorry, Lincoln in the chat saying they had a hard time following the destruction of the factory thing. It is a bit complex, I guess. It was. I had an easier time following it in the manga, the way it was explained. But yeah, basically there were two incidents and no one realized that there were two incidents until now.
Yeah, something happened and it kind of like wrecked the inside of the factory. It was no longer usable and it looked all dilapidated. But then something else happened next that completely destroyed the place and made the big Sakura-shaped hole.
Yeah.
And they think that Joshua was there for that, Shamiko's dad.
Yeah. So, fucking.
So no, there's no fucking in this show, Fiend.
So they start looking around for clues. And Mikan pulls Shamiko aside to sort of say, hey, how you were asking what Momo used to be like? She definitely used to be happier. Like, she used to smile more. She was, like, sort of cheerful. Whereas now, yeah, she just seems like more of a stiff, I think is her words.
Yeah, she's so surly. And why?
Yeah, and it's one of those things, just like, oh, man. Like I said before, the manga has gotten up to what the deal is there. And oof. It's so rough.
No. Also, before this, like, after she's making notes, I like when she asks Shamiko if she happens to have a spade, and then Shamiko's like, oh, let me check. No, I don't have a fucking spade.
yeah, she goes to check her purse.
And then there's part where Mikan is going to start talking about, because she talks about the sacrament cannon because of that Sakura hole.
That's right, yeah. She explains that's the attack. Yeah.
Yeah, sacrament cannon, which is pretty great. I like it.
And then she goes to explain what Fresh Peach Hot Shower is, and once again, I think Momo just slams the book in her face.
It's funny because she just like holds it up to her face, but Shamiko reacts very violently, like she's killing her. She's like, Mikan! And I'm like, that didn't warrant that.
So they're digging around, and they're talking about how what they're looking for in particular, what they're hoping to find is Sakura's core, because going back to that lore from the first season, the way the magical girls' bodies work is that their bodies are turned to energy, and using attacks and doing all that sort of stuff saps energy from that core that can then be like gained back. Because there was that moment in the first season when Momo kind of overdid it and had to rest for a second, and Mikan was explaining how if a magical girl was to overuse her energy, she would just be reduced to a core. Well, see, the funny thing is, in the first season they say she would disappear.
Slight retcon.
Yeah, whereas in this they say, no, a core would be left behind.
Yeah.
And Shamiko's worried it'll just be like a discarded glove or a dead cicada.
I was like, no, it's going to be something magical looking. Probably. And also, I like when they have that whole thing with Momo just like throwing a giant rock, and Shamiko's like, is that normal? And Mika's like, no, that's not normal even for a magical girl.
Well, that's one of the things she points out that's changed about Momo is that her muscles are way overdeveloped. Like, she's done all this ridiculous training. It's like, she never used to do that. Like, she was strong.
Yeah.
Like, when she's a baby, there's a moment where, like, Mikan's asking her, how did you get in? There was a really strong lock on the door, and Momo's just got it. And it's like, yeah, I broke it.
Oh, yeah, and that was a great... And then when they go to get into this property, there's a lock that says super hard, and it's like, it looks like it's made of metal, and it has spikes on it. Like, the thing that she did, we won't let anyone else do it. They've upgraded.
Yeah, I also like when Momo picks up the giant boulder and they're talking about her and she's just in the background and she throws it and Momo's voice actor says, fling. Still that thing of the effects.
Yeah.
But then Shamiko hears a voice.
Yes, because she's telling Mikan about how Momo was pretty happy when they were training together and she said something. And Mikan's like, what did you say? And she's like, I said I wanted everyone to be friends. Or she starts saying that, the line from that episode. And then she hears, look over here. Look over here.
Yeah.
And it's a sticky.
Yeah, it's like it looks like a star that's stuck to like, it looks like a twig with some ribbons attached to it. It looks very homemade.
Yeah.
So she grabs it, runs over to Momo and says, Momo, look, I've got a wand. And it's a fork.
Yeah, it just looks like a normal ass fork. And she's like, are you okay? Do you have heat stroke? I'm sorry. Do we need to go in?
And she just keeps insisting that no, there wasn't a fork before. And I heard voices.
I like how Mikan is like, oh, and you poor thing, you probably can't wear many hats with those horns. So it's really hard for you. And she's like, stop calling me a poor thing.
That's cute. And then we have an interstitial, right? It's Shamiko's friend who works at the meat store and the weird girl, the occult girl from last season.
Yeah.
And they could have just cut to this. You could have just gone to this scene and then come back. But for some reason, they have a weird interstitial where cartoon Shamiko and Momo are there going, oh, okay, now we're going to go and see what these guys are doing. And Momo's like, oh, is this a regular thing now? And Shamiko's like, this is probably going to be the first and last time. And it just suddenly cuts.
Yeah. Like they introduce it like a segment, but it's like, this is the only time we're going to have this segment.
Yeah. It almost cuts Shamiko off right at the end.
Cute.
There's nothing to this scene. It's just, there is like one really devastating line that Momo, what's her name? The girl who works at the meat store?
Henri?
Yeah, Henri, it's just a hot day. And she's walking going, oh, God, it's a hot day. Bloody climate change.
Oh, yeah.
The earth is screwed. But still, I'm going to do my best tomorrow. And I was like, oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Don't remind me, anime.
I mean, it's like, I like that it's a demonstration of how this girl is just constantly positive. Like, that's her whole deal.
Yeah.
But just to bring that in, it's like, Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah. I do like that. So the occult girl is like trying to call her over and get her interested in this homunculus blog she's making. And Henri just like keeps rejecting her, but in that very like upbeat tone, like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
and it's good voice acting.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't want any part of this. Thank you.
And like the blob of homunculus putty is like, or clay is like, it's just like a pulsating blob, but there is like one tiny foot sticking out of it.
Yeah.
And Henri's just like, yeah, no, thank you. Okay, I'm going to go to work. And Coco saying, do your best. And that's it.
Yeah. And then they cut back and they're like, that was it?
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, that was the whole bit. It does become relevant because the homunculus clay does play a part going forward. Like we saw a bit of it last season when when Shamiko tried to make arms and legs for the statue.
One amazing gag that the occult girl got to be involved in, yeah.
So, okay, here's the thing about occult girl. In the manga, I found her quite annoying for quite a while, but then there's a whole thing that explains who she is, and then she's suddenly very interesting. So, yeah, she's gonna get better.
Why you gotta keep doing this, mangaka? Why you gotta make things seem like a dumb gag, and then you're like, actually, this is very deep and interesting, and I'm like, well, shit. Oh, fuck.
Okay.
Back at the house. Choom poom. The mom knows about the stick. She draws a picture and she's like, did it look like this? Shamiko is like, yeah, that's what it was. And the mom explains that it's actually a special magical stick that her dad had that's called the something stick. She can't remember.
Yeah, I think she calls it the whatchamacallit stick. That's how it usually gets translated.
Yeah, and I like that she says it's very special, made in Mesopotamia.
I can't hear Mesopotamia anymore without thinking of fucking Fake Go. I've just been poisoned.
You nerd. I think of the amazing B-52 song Like a Cool Person. And they say that it can become anything that has like a long shape.
Yeah. It turns out they used to use it as like a drying rack for the futons.
Yeah, of course.
Of course, because they're poor. So they ask Lilith if she knows anything about it, and she's still hungover, like the mum was this morning. So she's just leaning on the horn sideways, and like they give her an offering of iced water.
Yeah, that's cute.
Yeah, and she's trying to explain that this was back before. She mentions in passing, while I was still trapped, that her dad told her about it in a dream once, but she can't remember what it was called. It was something called starting with A, and it's very old, very ancient, very powerful, but she doesn't remember what it is. So the whole thing is though that the whole idea is that it's meant to like you can turn into any weapon you want. You just have to think about it.
And that's the only reason it's a fork, because Shamiko is such a silly little kid that she just made it a fork.
So she tries to turn it into a weapon, and everyone's suggesting weapons for her. And she has a crack, and it just turns into a really big fork.
Yeah, she can't hold it up, and she slams on the ground. I like that Momo, or I forget who it is that suggests it, but they're like, you need to watch more foreign drama films to learn about real weapons.
That's right.
It's Lilith that says it.
Yeah. And there's a bit where Ryoko suggests like I think you should make an anti-cavalry spear, and Shamiko's like, why do you think I'm going to be stabbing a lot of horses?
Yeah, she's just really hung up on that particular time period. She likes it.
Yeah, and Momo's like saying, could you make a missile launcher that never runs out of missiles? And Shamiko's like, I don't know what that is, and Momo's like, you need to have a think about it, and Shamiko says, yes, okay, I'll study.
And then Momo and the little sister are on the computer together just looking up different kinds of weapons. And I do like that Shamiko comes in and she made it into a spade, which is like a callback joke, kind of. It's like, now I can have a spade whenever I need it.
Yeah. There's something interesting here that was in the manga that they didn't use in this scene. But in the manga, at this moment, when Shamiko uses it, like transforms it quite easily, even though she's transforming it into silly things. Momo reflects on how like she's a fucking natural and very powerful, but she's also an idiot. Like the whole idea is that like Momo's like, there's no way she should have been able to use this thing so quickly and so effortlessly, but she can, and that's interesting. That really intrigues Momo.
Not good at shooting beams, very good at transforming weapons.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, and when she was going to take the notes, Shamiko, that's when it turned into a pen full of ink, and she was very excited.
Yeah, without ever even thinking about it. Just pop, ping, it's a pen.
And she's like, look at it, Momo, wow!
And there's a bit where she gets stuck on this joke she makes, where she's like, it's a cool weapon, it's my cool fork, it'll turn into any idea I spoon feed it. Spoon feeding a fork, get it? And it just sort of says that like 5 times in a row.
Yeah, I like how the translators have been trying to translate the jokes and stuff.
Yeah.
I wonder how the different subbers are doing it, because I'm sure there's subbers who leave it like the original version, and then there's like a shit ton of text wall above and below about what they're saying.
The Pro ZD video.
Hell yeah.
As Shamiko's watching Momo and Ryoko looking up weapons, she's thinking about what Mikan said about how Momo used to smile more. And she makes it one of her new goals is that she's going to make Momo smile. Not because she wants to, because she thinks that if she should make sure all of her vassals are happy as a good leader demon. Mm-hmm. So it's very important.
But I do like she's like, oh, it'd be nice if she did a big smile. I bet she'd be really cute if she did. And I was like, yeah you think about your cute Momo.
She goes in and tries to crack a joke, and it doesn't go well because she's just says it really low energy.
Yeah.
I like how often the dad's advice is good advice. Like, it's like this one is like, Ganbate Shimako, confidence and delivery usually means more than quality when it comes to jokes. Yeah, it's true. That's true. Yeah.
I also like the idea that that's like part of their writing philosophy for this show. Yeah. It is more important the way that we say things silly.
Just be enthusiastic.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Anyway, yeah, that's the episode.
And that's the episode.
Again, it's this is such a good example of what this show does well in terms of what the story, the manga and the anime do well in terms of there's some interesting story shit happening, but also fun nonsense the whole time.
Hell yeah.
Like the thing is so packed full of gags.
I mean, it's a 4-coma.
Like, again, getting back to like what I was saying with, XL Saga and those sort of like really, really comedy-focused anime, normally it's just comedy and nothing matters and the characters are whatever. Whereas this one has a really nice blend of these characters kind of interesting, there's actual stuff happening, but also all the gags at the same time.
Yeah, you don't often get that balance. I'd say Mob is the other thing that does that really well.
Yeah, Mob's also pretty good about that.
Hell yeah.
I mean, I'm not expecting DG&D to ever pull off like a fight sequence like Mob or anything.
Oh, well, yeah, Mob the show show had some other things going for it. Fucking Bones going crazy.
Well, even the manga did have like awesome fucking art at the same time. But yeah, obviously the manga can't do what the show can do in terms of fucking rad psychic fights.
Yeah.
One day I want to do a podcast just talking about how much I love the Body Improvement Club.
They're so good and pure.
They would so normally be assholes or, like villains or whatever, but they are just a bunch of big dumb jocks who have a really positive attitude towards body improvement and self-esteem, and they just want to help Mob, and they do, and they love him even though he's tiny.
There's something that happens with the main guy in the Body Improvement Club in season 2, and they go all out on the animation, and it is pretty cool.
Oh, okay. I really got to watch season 2.
Season 2 is a very mixed bag.
Oh, okay.
Compared to season 1.
Oh.
That's for a different podcast.
Anyway, a slight update. We are going to do the teaser once most of the season's like 3 or so episodes in.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned I bought the light novel for The Executioner and Way of Life. I've already dropped it. I got like 3 chapters in and I was like, nah.
Are you going to look at the anime still, or did you cheat?
I'll look at the anime, but like I think I showed some of it to Cube. The magic in that thing is just so perfunctory, like, and straightforward. And the main character has this little sidekick girl who's like a tiny yandere girl who in the translation light novel has this really annoying affectation where at least one word a sentence is extended on the vowel. And I don't like this character. No, I'm done.
Do you think she's trying to be kind of like Jack in Appeal? Jack the Ripper from Fate Go?
I don't think so. They're not dressed like that or anything, but yeah, I don't know. I like the opening, but yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and it was interesting seeing that, like, the way that light novels, I assume this isn't particular to this light novel, where it will just be like, magic in this world is called blah blah, and you can do it, and this is how you do it. Okay, that we explained that in one paragraph. Anyways.
Yeah. It's like that thing in like the thing that, when I've talked about Fate, and the way I like Fate magic is that it's all like made up nonsense and ass pulling, but it at least goes out of its way to be interesting and fun. Whereas I've read a lot of light novels where they have the magic thing, but and they'll stop and explain how magic works, but there's nothing interesting about it.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like regular RPG world type magic. Like, there's magic in the earth and you pull on it and all you do a high kick. Like, it's okay. Cool.
Yeah, okay, good to know, I guess.
Yeah. Anyway,
Demon Girl Next Door.
Yeah, Demon Girl Next Door.
It's not an isekai, that's why it's good.
I was going to say, like, I feel like, these episodes are going to be so short. We should just take a moment to like talk about other things we're doing.
It's okay to have a short podcast.
No, it is. But I don't know. Like, you're never going to do a podcast about, Hollow Knight, but you've been fucking obsessed with that for like a month now.
It's not been a month. It's been a couple weeks. It's good. It's a very good video game fiend. It's not an anime, but it's very good, and I like it. I like Hollow Knight. There's a lot of little guys, and they're very sad, but they're very cute.
You can go and watch Melanie streaming that on her channel. They're all up there.
Yeah, wait, I guess maybe there's some people who listen to this that don't know about Melanie. Hey, I do VTubing. It's basically like just more or less like this. I talk slightly higher. It's not, I'm not trying to be a waifu or anything, but it's called Melanie, like MELONY, because I'm a watermelon tabby. It's a pun name. You can find me at Melanie Pepon.
Yeah. I've said it before. Cube has initially had this. The rig was built for her by Crackly, but Cube learned how to do all the VTubing stuff herself, and that rig is fucking incredible. Like, it's just an insanely good rig. It's compared to like professional VTubers. Like, there's some people on HoloLive who have some fucking rough rigs in terms of the way they move and stuff. Whereas,
it's easier when you have a more cartoony, simple style. Dummies.
And can draw your own stuff and everything too, I suppose. But yeah.
Yeah, I go ham. I'm having a lot of fun.
Yeah, you can also tell how long Melanie's been playing a game by how many accessories she's ended up with.
Hell yeah.
You have 6 now? 6 different Hollow Knight things?
No, look, I have a special version for the weekend where I've removed a lot of the accessories, but I become a pale being, which is a very powerful kind of entity, and so I made myself very pale, and I have a good time. I now understand the concept of accessorizing.
You never have before.
Whoa, you can put things on that say things about you. Did you know, Vin?
This is like, I didn't get to like really experiment with clothes and jewelry and stuff until came out as trans, and you didn't get to do it until you came out as a watermelon cat. And now you understand.
Have you heard about jewelry? I don't. It's very exciting.
All right, maybe we can call it here.
All right. Hey, have a nice anime.
Cheers.